Yes.
Okay, awesome. Hello, my name is Srija. Welcome to the first youth session. I'm so happy all of you are here. As someone who got into meditation very early on in my life, I'm so happy I discovered it at my young age. And I've been meditating for a couple of years now, and I've seen so many positive changes in every area of my life. So I'm so happy to be here talking about meditation. Before we get started, who here is new to meditation? You can use the raise hand feature or come off of mute. Anything works. Is anybody like brand new to meditation or maybe just got into it or only done it a couple of times? Okay, Rahul is new to meditation. Thank you, Rahul, for answering. Who else? Okay, lots of people. Ritvik. Okay, great. Don't worry at all if you're nervous. Meditating is one of the easiest things you can do with the biggest benefit. So I feel like it's a life hack, because it's super easy, but you get so much for just doing the easy things. So I'm going to actually share my screen. Please let me know if you can see it. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Rija.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you to the meditation community for making this presentation. So this session is all going to be the basics, how to meditate, and please feel free to come off of mute, ask any questions at any time. There's no bad questions. This is a safe space, and I will do my best to answer everything. So, what is meditation, right? First of all, does anyone want to try making their own definition for what meditation is or what you think meditation is? Anybody? Don't be scared. This will be more fun if people talk and interact. You can also put it in the chat. And I can't see the chat, so if you want to like read the chat, if anyone puts it in. Okay, well, I mean, before I learned about meditation, I thought it was something that ancient saints and like people who live in mountains do. I didn't think it was for people like me who, just live, go to school, do everything. I thought it was like only people like that who practice meditation because I would see it in the movies, and it would always show like this old man sitting in a cave and like meditating and doing all these things. But in reality, meditation is all it is the practice of observing your breath. So anybody and everybody can do meditation. There is no type of pe person, there's no time to do meditation. It's something that everyone should do because there are so many benefits and there's so much power in observing your breath. So when you sit down to meditate, what you're actually doing is focusing on the air that goes in your nose and out of your nose, right? And when you do that, the mind automatically becomes calm. And over time, you'll observe that when you meditate every single day, your thoughts start to decrease during meditation. Because you're so focused on your breath, your thoughts start to decrease. And then you'll see that when your thoughts start to decrease during meditation, they'll also start to be regulated outside of meditation. So that means if you're someone that gets stressed really easily, I know I was someone that would do that. I would get stressed for every little thing in school, even in my job, but after I started meditating consistently, I'm able to get a lot less stressed and do things without a lot of anxiety, right? You'll also start to feel just calm about everything. Maybe, sometimes I know people will get angry at really small things. I know people who used to be like that, and then after meditating a lot, now they're so calm, they don't let things affect them anymore, right? So when you meditate for a long time, you'll just become this calm, confident, cool person, and you're going to see so many positive changes in your life because of that. And that all happens just through observing your breath, which I know that's what I was saying, right? Such a simple thing with such great benefits. So, why do we need to meditate? So, like I said, meditation calms your mind. And this is important because our mind controls our whole entire life, right? So, I want to give you an example of how this is true. I want you to think about if you've ever been on vacation, right? Like, have you been on like a family vacation where maybe you went to a really cool place like Europe or anywhere like Asia, anywhere, and you get into a fight with your family even though you're in this super cool place that you've never been to before, all you're thinking about is your fight with the family, right? So in that sense, your environment is not controlling you, right? Because your environment is so cool. Maybe you're in Paris, maybe you're in India, whatever. But your mind is controlling you because your focus is placed on the negative thing that happened. This is just one example. Your mind controls your entire life. So it doesn't matter if you're super duper rich, right? A lot of rich people we know are not happy. This shows that money doesn't control our life. Our environment doesn't control our life. We see supermodels and like the best looking people have the same problems. Like, so looks don't control our life. Our mind is the thing that controls everything. This is why when we meditate, we channel our mind to become calmer and process our thoughts better. And that's why our entire life becomes better because our mind is what controls our life. So I hope that made sense. Again, please let me know if anything is confusing or if I say something that maybe is hard to understand. I can definitely re-explain it. So, meditating calms your mind. It also heavily reduces stress and anxiety. I know that at least for young people, right? Like I'm 22 years old. I started meditating maybe when I was 19. That is such a stressful time in our life, right? Because there's college, there's job, there's grades, trying to make friends, trying to have a social life, trying to, do all of these things. That comes with a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety if we let it, right? But if we meditate and we learn how to channel that stress and anxiety and learn how to control it, we can perform better in all of these areas of life. Like when I'm so stressed about an exam, I end up doing bad in the exam, right? But if I go into an exam with a cool mind, I'm able to think better. I'm able to use my brain better. In our last youth session, there was actually a boy who was talking about how he was an athlete and meditating helped him play sports better because he was able to, use his mind and focus on the game properly because he didn't have so much stress and fear around it anymore. And with that, our focus also improves, like I was saying. When your mind is clear and there's no thoughts and there's no flood of things just crowding your mind, you're razor focused and you'll be able to do a great job at anything because you're focused. The next thing is meditation also balances emotions. Like I was saying before, if you're someone that's really stressed or really angry or has a lot of fears, meditation will help all of that go down and it will help you just be neutral. Like it will help you look at things from outside of all of those negative emotions. And my favorite thing is that meditation helps improve sleep. So sometimes I will be meditating and 5 minutes in, I'll fall asleep and I'll just stay asleep the entire night. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing, right? If I was scrolling on my phone or something, I don't get sleep. But if I meditate instead, I fall asleep so good and my quality of sleep is also really amazing. So these are just five of the reasons that we should meditate. There are so many more reasons, but these are the five biggest things that people our age, like the youth especially, struggle with. And that is especially why you should start meditating at a young age. So, the type of meditation that Meditation Magic will teach you, and this program will teach you, is called Anapanasati meditation, which is breath meditation. Now, does anyone want to try guessing or like, does anyone think they know why we focus on our breath? Should I start calling names? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that because it's the first session. But if you want to try, you can always put it in the chat. Again, I can't see the chat, so please let me know if anyone says anything. But basically, we focus on our breath because our breath is our life force, and it is always something that is happening, whether we're conscious of it or not conscious of it, right? So, for example, if I move my hand up like this, I'm moving it up because my mind thought to move my hand up, right? So first my brain thinks it, then I move my hand up. Same thing if I kick a ball. Like I know I'm going to kick the ball before I kick the ball, right? I don't just do it. But our breath, that's not something that we control, right? Obviously, we don't tell ourselves to breathe in and tell ourselves to breathe out. And that is why we focus on the breath because just as our breath is out of our control, so many things in our life also feel like they're out of our control. But when we focus on the breath, when we channel it, when we focus on it, we're able to start controlling everything else in our life. And our breath is always going to be with us, right? If I break my arm will like it will not work for some time. But our breath never breaks, right? Our breath is our life force. So it's always with us and it's always controlling our life. That's why it's so important that we focus on the breath. The breath also connects the mind and body. So for example, if you're ever like super angry about something, do you ever notice that your breath starts to get like fast? Like, or if you're stressed, do you notice that your breath starts to get super fast and you're not taking your time? But if anyone ever tells you to relax and take a deep breath, what does that do? That relaxes our body, right? Because our mind is also relaxed and our breath is slower. So this just shows that the breath is connecting our mind and body, right? It's telling us when to be in a relaxed state of mind and body, when to be in a more stressed, urgent state of mind and body. That's also why, if we are able to control our breath, we're able to control both the mind and the body. And lastly, the breath keeps you in the present. Sometimes, I'm sure this happens to everyone, you just get so overthinky about something, and then someone else will be like, calm down, take a deep breath. And what happens when we do that? When we take a deep breath in and out, we recenter ourselves back to the present and we stop spiraling about everything else, right? So the breath is so important because of all of these things. It keeps us connected and it keeps us present in the moment. And when we use meditation to channel our breath, we can amplify all of the positive effects that it can have on us. So the breath is so, so important. And one thing that a piece of advice I can give is if you're ever finding yourself in a really high stress situation, just pause, take 3 deep breaths, and see how you go about the rest of your day. Like literally this morning, I started a new job, right? So with that comes a lot of stress for me because I personally don't know how to do a lot of things yet. So I was working and I started to get really anxious without me realizing it. And I started to have a bunch of negative thoughts and stuff. And I told myself, okay, just pause and take 3 deep breaths. I took the 3 breaths and then I felt so much calmer and I was able to do my work in such a better way. It gave me the focus again to do the work. And back to the other point in the beginning, when you are calm and you're not stressed and anxious, your focus is improved. And then I was able to do my work a lot better after that. So the breath is always our life force, very important part of life. So next is when to meditate, how long should you meditate, and what are the rules of meditation? That you came to the right place to learn meditation because we'll always tell you that there are no rules for meditating. I've heard a lot of misconceptions of, oh, you shouldn't do meditation after you eat, or you shouldn't do meditation after you exercise, or whatever. There is no such thing as a wrong time to meditate because, again, all you're doing is focusing on your breath and getting your mind back in control, right? So there is no wrong time to meditate. So whenever it works for you, maybe if you're like some people have night shifts, some people have school and then practice after school and what this and that. Just do it whenever you find the time and when it's most convenient for you. But I do have some recommendations of when you should meditate because your benefits will be amplified. I recommend doing meditation as soon as you wake up. This is because when you wake up, your mind is fresh and it's empty, right? It's not filled with all of the thoughts that come up during the day, all of the stresses that come up during the day. Your mind is already in that neutral, kind of empty state. And when you meditate, you'll be able to so much easier connect with your breath because your mind is already in a calmer state of mind. And when you meditate in the morning and you're just filled with all this relaxed energy, you're going to take that throughout the rest of your day, right? I notice that whenever I make time to meditate in the mornings, the rest of the day I feel happier, more at peace, and more calm because I started my day off like that. So I would really recommend even just 15 minutes of meditation in the morning can do so good for the rest of your day and meditating before bed. Because, like we said earlier, it does improve your quality of sleep and it will make sure that before you sleep, your mind is in a nice, relaxed state of being, right? You're not thinking about everything you have to do tomorrow or everything that went wrong in the day. You're just in a nice state of mind and it will continue throughout your sleep and when you wake up. So, these are great times to meditate. But again, if it doesn't work out for you like that, it doesn't matter. Now, how long you should meditate. So, the recommendation that Meditation Magic gives is to start with as many minutes as your age. So, for example, if you're 15, start with 15 minutes. If you're 7, maybe 7 minutes, like that. So, whatever age you are, start meditating for that amount of time for 2 weeks. I recommend every day do your minutes per age for 2 weeks and then add 5 minutes the next week, and then add 5 minutes the next week. So I started when I'd say 19. So I started with 19 minutes of meditation, and then I slowly increased to 25 minutes, then 30 minutes. So, like that. You don't have to do an hour at first, obviously, because meditation takes practice to be able to sit and, focus on your breath for that long. So slowly, slowly increasing it, I found helps a lot. Okay, now the posture for meditating. So the best posture to meditate in is always sitting down. I don't recommend meditating when you're laying down. Always sit up, and also you don't have to stand, especially if you're going to do it for a long time. Now you can sit on a chair, on your bed, on your floor, whatever is comfortable for you. But the important thing is to obviously close your eyes, clasp your hands, and cross your legs. And this is a concept we'll get into in another session. But when you do this, your body is able to hold energy a lot more because you're closing all of the open areas of your body, which are your hands and your legs. So sit up, close your eyes, make sure your back is straight. You can also relax your back against the wall. Like you don't have to, put it in the air and stuff. Like that's definitely not comfortable. So as long as you're sitting up and closing your eyes and clasping your hands, that is the correct posture to meditate and crossing your legs. And so while you start meditating, all you have to do is recognize your breath, right? So that's what we've been talking about this whole, oh my gosh, sorry. That's what we've been talking about this whole session, right? So what does it mean to recognize your breath? Whenever you take an inhale, observe the air that's going in your nose. And then when you breathe out, just observe the air that's going out. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just observe your breath in, observe your breath out. Now, whenever you start meditating, you'll notice that all these thoughts start coming in your head, right? For me, it's like, oh, what am I going to eat after this? Or like, like I have to hang out with my friends, whatever, whatever. It's okay if thoughts come in your head. The more you try to push away thoughts, the harder it will be for you to focus. So, whenever you get thoughts, just come back to your breath. Just be like, okay, that was a thought. Come back to your breath, focus on the air again and again. And over time, when you keep meditating, you will get so much better at this. I like to think of meditation as its own muscle, right? The more you practice it, the stronger it will get. So just observe your breath. Also, don't try to force your breath to be slow. If you are taking shorter breaths, that's fine. Just observe the shorter breaths. If you're taking longer breaths, that's okay. You just want your body to breathe naturally. And the more you relaxed you'll get, you will naturally slow down your breath, but that's not something you have to force your body to do at all. So, the two things, observe your breath in and out, and focus on your natural breath. Like, don't try to force it. And if thoughts come up, totally okay. Just come back to your breath. So, there are a lot of kind of experiences that you will start to notice in meditation, right? So some things are colors and flashes of light. When you start getting deep into meditation, you will see that you will start to see colors sometimes, or like you'll start to see pictures, images, whatever. But I want you to remember that it's totally okay, again, to like get all those things. Just come back to your breath and focus on your breath. Don't overthink about what you saw. Don't try to assign meaning to it. You don't have to do any of that, right? You are just controlling your breath. So again, come back to it. And other emotions you might feel are, you might get sleepy again, and you also might get emotional. For me, whenever sometimes I do long meditation sessions, I start to experience the emotions that maybe I have been like pushing down in my body. So if I'm angry and I just like force myself to not feel anger, that will come up during my meditation. And this is because your body is releasing all of those emotions out of you, right? When you have no other distractions, nothing else to take away from whatever you're feeling, your body is going to experience them and it's going to let it go. So, again, this is all natural and fine. No need to worry about it or assign meaning to it. The biggest thing is just let whatever happens in your meditation happen, right? There's no such thing as wrong meditation or right meditation. Like, it's so different for everybody. So again, you should also not compare how you meditate to other people. As long as you are sitting with yourself, focused on your breath, let whatever happen happen, and you will just start to experience things that are unique to you the more you meditate. And I think that's super cool. Like sometimes it's so cool whenever I'm meditating, I personally feel a lot of kind of energy around my face and around my arms, and it's a nice like comforting type of feeling. So you will also start to feel the same, and after meditating, you'll just get this new energy and you'll just feel so happy. It's like when you exercise, you release all these endorphins, you feel happy. It's the same with meditation. So it's really cool. So, what happens actually in meditation? Because this is the first session, I'm not going to go like too in depth with this, but when you observe your breath, your mind essentially just becomes empty, right? Because you're not thinking of all of those thoughts and stuff. And when your mind becomes empty, you actually start to receive energy from the universe. Now, I know this is like a bigger concept, so I'll try to keep it simple. Basically, we are made of all of the same things as the universe, right? So we have gases in our body that the stars have the same gas, right? So things like hydrogen, oxygen, all of these things, they're all around us. So what does that mean? It means that we ourselves are the universe, right? And are the world. And when we meditate, when we're not clouded by all of these worldly thoughts and material things, we start to receive the same energy from the universe. And when we start to receive all this energy from the universe, it starts to cleanse our body of all of the negativity that we might experience in everyday life, right? So, like all the stress and fear, whatever. The more energy you receive, you'll start to see that you will just stop kind of experiencing fear in the same level, stress in the same level, and you'll start to react to all of these things better. And that's why, like earlier, we said you'll see all of these things. You might see or feel some like really cool things. It's because energy is entering your body through your mind. And we're just channeling our kind of soul energy. So like, isn't that so cool that we get to experience something like that? So that's why it's important that you always practice meditation because you will receive so much good energy and you'll just live such a better life. Like you'll naturally be more happy, be more grateful because that's the type of energy you're receiving, like the positive cosmic energy. I know that might be a little confusing, especially for new people. You don't have to worry about all of that. All you should worry about is just trying to control your mind, like focus on your breath and reduce your thoughts and all of that. Like all of this stuff will come later. So, whenever you sit down for meditation, I don't want any of you to think that you can't do it, right? The first few times, you're going to have a lot of thoughts. I mean, I know I did. The first few times I sat for meditation, I was just thinking the whole time. It was so hard for me to focus on my breath. It was hard for me to even sit for that long. Like, I wanted to get up and move. That does not mean that you're bad or that you can't do meditation. That is a completely normal experience. And like I was saying earlier, meditation is like a muscle, right? You just have to train it. Like, for example, no one can just run a marathon like right off the bat. You'll start by running 1 mile and then 2 miles and 3 miles. And at first, running is gonna, it feels so hard, right? But the more you practice, the easier it gets. Meditation is the exact same way. It's not easy to suddenly tell your brain to stop thinking. All we're doing all day is thinking, 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 right? So obviously, you're not just gonna be able to stop thinking. It's something that takes a lot of time. And honestly, even though I've been meditating for so long, sometimes I get so much thoughts in my meditation too. But it's okay. You just have to trust in the process and just keep doing it every day and never doubt that your meditation is going wrong or you're maybe like you can't do it. That's not true. Meditation is designed for every single human being on this planet, and that's just one of the universal laws. So if you're a human being, you can do meditation. So yeah, that is the my presentation on the basics of meditation. I hope this gave some people maybe some more clarity if it's your first time. The important thing is please just make sure that you have a positive attitude about it. Maybe your parents forced you to come here. Maybe you didn't come here on your own. Just try it out and tr give it a good chance. Like try it out for 2 weeks and see how your life is. I guarantee you that your life will improve even just a little bit, and you will start to see so many positive changes in your life if you do it over time. Like there are a lot of people here that are very seasoned practitioners, people I consider my masters too, and they can tell you that meditation has so many benefits. It's not something for old people. Like I'm pretty young and I love meditating, and I know there's a lot of youth who meditate that benefit so much from it. I hope we get to hear, more from them in the coming sessions too. But yeah, that was my presentation. So how do you guys feel about trying to meditate for some time? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes. So remember let me pull up the slide again on the posture for meditation. So however you are, wherever you are, cross your legs and clasp your hands like this. And make sure your legs are crossed. You can stretch your legs out if you want or sit crisscross. It doesn't matter, whatever you are comfortable with. And just start to take some slow breaths. You don't have to close your eyes right away. Just start to observe your breath. Just start to, calm, just get calm a little bit, get settled in your environment. If you're wearing glasses, I please take off your glasses and just start to, feel comfortable in your skin.